Alright everyone, welcome back to Funland. And in this episode, we're going to break down our 1977 season, including our two new attractions, one at each of our parks. We're going to go through our ridership, our finances, then we're going to talk about 3 coasters towards the end of this video. Now, in real life, the 1977 season did have some big technological advancements in terms of rides. And for the first time as a company, we are going to work with Intamin, at the time Intamin AG, I believe, now known as Intamin Amusement Rides, a very big player in the modern amusement industry. And this already is going to build a nice relationship with that company to get started off for our series. But let's go ahead and hop into it. So our 2 new attractions for our parks are going to be 2 panoramic towers, 2 observation towers, if you will. One at Funland and one at Joyland. The one at Funland is going to stand around 250 feet tall, and the one at Joyland is going to stand around 215 feet tall. So a little bit of variation between the 2 towers. The Funland is going to definitely be getting the taller of the 2, but this is going to open a nice working relationship with Intamin for any future projects we may want. And as we all know, Intamin, as I said before, a huge player in the current amusement industry. So let's go ahead and hop straight into the construction of the 2 panorama towers. Alright, we'll get started with the tower over here at Funland. I picked an area right up at the front along our main street, or not right up at the front, but right along the main street where the Sky Ride runs and right next to the Ferris wheel. And I picked this location because, one, I think it would look really good as you're walking up to it and can just see this giant tower as you're walking down the main pathway as to get deeper into the park. And then this area is also very centrally located to the rest of the park as well. So, I mean, when you go up in the tower, 250 feet in the air, you're going to get a really good view of everything around as well. So it's kind of the same reason I put the Ferris wheel where I did, was you get a really good view of the entire park. And that's the same reason I chose to put the tower here. And as I said, Intamin is the one that would end up selling us this ride, although the way Intamin works, they probably would not have actually made this. They would have just marketed it and sold it. And then, as you can see right here, I'm putting out a couple of benches and things like that out front, so people who want to stop by and just kind of wait for their families can do that. However, with the way these towers are, they're very, very family friendly, and it's a very good way for the entire family, whether it be grandparents, parents, and kids. They can all hop on these observation towers and enjoy the view for themselves from 250 feet in the air. So I think these are really good additions, and that's where we're going to leave the tower at Funland, so we'll skip on over to Joyland here. And at Joyland, we put the tower right at the end of Main Street. So Joyland's set up a little bit different from Funland, so there's no like Main Street or like boulevard where everything runs along. There's just kind of the end of the Main Street there, and again, right next to the Ferris wheel, so very similar locations for both of the rides at both of the parks. Small bit of overflow queue on both the towers. I liked the way the one at Funland ended up looking a little bit more, just because the queue has that nice little overlook on the front, but nonetheless, at Joyland also looks pretty darn good in my opinion. So those are the 2 panorama towers we have for the 2 Funland parks, and 2, I think, really solid additions that we added to our parks as a whole. Because, again, like I said, very family friendly. Anyone can hop on them, and it's a good chance to just, take a break. So it's not an extreme thrill ride, and anyone can enjoy it. I mean, when I go to parks, I really enjoyed going on the one at Carowinds when I was down there, is because when I was going in between coasters, it was a nice break to just kind of chill, relax, and just get a good view of the park and just take some photos. So really, really solid investments, I think. Not gonna draw everyone in, but very, very good groundwork ride, I would say. And with the completion of construction of the Panorama Towers, we will go ahead and hop on into our ridership for the season. So looking at the ridership right here, I always like to break down Funlands first, and I always like to kind of look at these as I make these videos so I don't go in too much. I don't put a whole lot of preparation in these. I kind of like to do a more live com style when I do these videos, so if you ever see something like this and I kind of point something out, it's probably the first time I've seen it, because I really don't, outside of writing the numbers down, I don't really delve into them too much until I make these videos and get the chance to kind of look at them as you're looking at them as well, and I think that kind of gives us a nice little mesh there as we go through. But if we're looking at the Funland ridership, we can see Carabel Mining Company has officially broken the 1 million Riders Club, so I'll probably make a post about that sometime in the near future. We now have 2 coasters with over 1 million riders, and that is just excellent. As far as everything else at Funland, looking pretty normal as far as I can tell looking through here. Nothing too out of the ordinary. And if we look over at Joyland, still don't have any rides breaking the 1 Million Riders Club yet, although White Cyclone is getting there, slowly but surely. But with the seasonal operating season, it's just not going to have the same opportunity that the rides at Funland will, much in the same way Cyclone's broken it, and White Cyclone is still pretty far behind. But, you know, White Cyclone runs half the time that the Cyclone at Funland does, so not as much opportunity there for the rides at Joyland to make, but we definitely have some rides getting close. Joyland Mainline Railroad getting fairly close. It's still bringing in over 100,000 riders a season, so it's sitting at 845,376, and White Cyclone sitting there at 734,115. So we're starting to get there in terms of ridership at Joyland, but it just takes a lot more time because of the limited operating compared to what we have at Funland available for operating season. Now we can go ahead and jump on over into our 1977 revenue. Nothing too out of the ordinary that's jumping out to me that that's really too different from previous seasons. Although June getting very close to 1 million, July bringing in over 1 million, August bringing in over 1 million, and October bringing in over 1 million between the two parks is very, very awesome. And we are sitting at well over 15 million in the bank. In fact, we are very, very close to 20 million in the bank at the end of this season, because we only have to take the million out of our total profit, and then we put the $3,417,262.80 into our bank, bringing us to a grand total of $19,554,626.30. So we're doing very well as a company so far. I mean, we have a couple negative months, but again, to be expected. I don't want to keep rambling on over and over because this is a lot of the same stuff I've said in previous episodes. But our revenue looking great. We're still profitable, so everything looking very, very good from the Fun Corporation side. And with that, let's go ahead and jump over into the coasters we have to talk about for this year. So I've been seeing some comments about wanting a shuttle loop coaster at our parks, and that's something that's definitely on our horizon, seeing them built in this season. So we'll talk about the Arrow one first. So the first Arrow shuttle loop that I believe opened was Demon at Kings Island, opening in 1977, and it stood at a height of 56 feet, speed of 45 miles an hour, and a total track length of 635 feet. I am very, very lucky to say I have the opportunity to have ridden one of these Arrow shuttle loops. I rode the one at Elitch Gardens. It goes by the name of Sidewinder and has operated very sporadically, but got to go to a wedding down in Colorado a couple years back, and I kind of forced my family to go with me over to Elitch Gardens. And unfortunately, due to a storm, I only got to ride 2 rides, being their SLC and their shuttle loop. But I'm very, very happy I got the chance to ride the shuttle loop, because with the park potentially relocating fairly soon, I'm not sure Sidewinder's going to make that deal. But let me tell you guys, if you have the opportunity to get on one of the 3, I believe, remaining, like I said, I think there's 3 left. There's Sidewinder at Elitch's, which probably won't be there for too much longer. It's Diamondback at Frontier City in Oklahoma City, and then Revolution at Pleasure Beach in Blackpool in the UK. Get the opportunity, go ride one of these things. The airtime these things deliver when they go over the hill. Now, to explain, so these rides operate by just kind of like, they have this winch that just like pushes the train off the incline. So you have to walk up this huge set of stairs, and there's this winch that is like sitting at the end of the train. It just like pushes the ride down a hill through a loop, and it goes back up and does the same thing backwards. It's an incredible experience, and the airtime you get on these things is insane, like literally insane. Not only on the first launch that you can see, but then when you launch backwards, you don't know when that drop is coming, and it's just a phenomenal ride experience. So if you get the opportunity to try to get on one of these things, go for it. They are very, very fun. Now, our next coaster is going to be White Lightning at Carowinds, White Lightning, I guess is how it's spelled out. Now, it looks like the Taft Parks put quite a few of these in shuttle loops, because, I mean, Kings Island also a Taft Park at the time. and these two parks still under the same ownership, even to this day, at Six Flags Entertainment Corporation. But White Lightning was the first Schwarzkopf shuttle loop roller coaster, and these ones operated with a weight drop. So a giant weight would fall, and that energy would pull the train through a loop, up a spike, and then it would drop through the spike, back through the loop, fly through the station, up a second rear spike, and then it would fall forward into the brakes, into the station. Unfortunately, I have yet to have the opportunity to ride one of these Schwarzkopf shuttle loops. I was really hoping to get on Montezuma's Revenge at Knott's, but with the whole fiasco that is that ride right now, who knows what's going to happen with it, or if it'll even reopen at all. But these were very, very popular for quite a while. Most of them lasted up into the 2000s, I think, and there's still quite a few of them running, mostly overseas. I think the one at Knott's was the last operating one in the US, although there is the one from Mexico in storage, I think Niagara Amusement Park. So hopefully that one comes back into service at some point, because I'd really like to get the chance to ride one of these ones. But these stood at a height of 137 feet, top speed of 57 miles an hour, and a total track length of 863 feet. So both these shuttle loop models fairly short, but the earliest conceptions of launch coasters we really have to go off of. And as the Fun Corporation, a launch coaster sounds pretty cool, so I think that might be in the near future as we go through. Now, the third coaster I want to talk about, this is one I have ridden. It was the first full-circuit vertical looping roller coaster on the East Coast, I believe. Super Duper Looper at Hershey Park, and got the chance to ride this one. Not a whole lot to it. In the modern age, it and Revolution kind of have the same thing going on, although Super Duper has its loop at the very beginning that it just kind of wanders around through the forests and eventually finds its way back to the brakes. So not too much to say about Super Duper at Hershey. Doesn't do a whole lot for me. Stands at a height of 70 feet, top speed of 45 miles an hour, and a total track length of 2,614 feet. So of the three coasters we talk about, I've had the chance to ride one of the ones we have listed. I've had the chance to ride one of the models of the other ones we have listed as well. Let me tell you this, I can't say enough good things about those Arrow shuttle loops. So if you get the opportunity, go ride one, because I don't think those will be around much longer. I think the Schwarzkopf ones will outlast the Arrow ones by quite a while, in my opinion. But that's all we've got for the 1977 season at the Fun Corporation. I know we're looking a little bit slow to start, but I mean, that's the 70s for you. There's not too much to add on. I want to make sure these parks are complete for everybody before we start kind of branching out and going too far in any direction. And we have to wait for the innovations to come out. But as we approach the end of the 70s, we are getting pretty close to some pretty cool things that'll happen in the decades coming. Thank you for tuning in to Fun Corporation episode 10. I cannot wait to see you in the next one, and I will talk to you later.